Thank you for that, Colette. It's always really hard to kind of say what I do because I do lots of different things. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what it means for me to do those things, because my real passion is mentoring young women, particularly young women of colour and immigrant young women in New Zealand. But kind of taking a step back from all of that, think about a really hard day that you might have, where you wake up in the morning and everything seems to just go wrong and everything's annoying and you stub your toe on your bed or something and you go outside and it's bucketing down like it was today and you miss your bus and all these things add up, and by the time you get to work you're really worked up and kind of frantic. For me, those things that add up are the things that people say, the things that if people would think it's not of consequence if they say it once. It's like a little thing, like the man on the road who thinks it's okay to yell out at me and say smile, or the person who notices that I don't have a drink in my hand at a networking event and asks me why I don't. And I'm not a very good liar and I don't improvise very well, so I immediately blurt out, "Oh, I'm Muslim." And then they act all weird and go, "Are you really a Muslim? You're a very casual Muslim, or you don't look like one." I don't really know what a Muslim is supposed to look like, but yeah. Or it's the thing that I get every day, multiple times a day, and it's the thing that gets me really mad now. And I know it's a really little thing, and people who know me know that, kind of tell me it's fine, that people are just curious, but it's this thing of, "Where are you from?" And that's okay. I go, "I'm from Auckland, that's my home, my family lives here, I've got roots here, I identify as from Auckland." And then they go, "Where are you really from?" And you're kind of like, "I'm from Auckland." And then they go, "Where are your parents from?" So I thought I'd put this up here. It's from Parks and Rec and Aziz Ansari going, "Where did you move here from?" And he goes, "My mother's uterus." And I thought it's kind of cool. And I always look at it when I'm mad. And it makes me happy because, yeah, and, it's comedians are important in this kind of day and age. So, yeah, thought give you a bit of a laugh. But all of these things that I've been talking to you about, all of those little things that kind of add up during the day for minorities, people who look like me or women or people with disabilities or invisible illnesses, those things really add up and they kind of stay inside of you. And those are microaggressions and those impact your mental health. And the thing that I want to mention that it impacts really concretely that you can see, this little table that I got from a Stuff article in 2015. I mean, obviously that's changed and the wage gap is a little bit different. But this, this trend of kind of older European males having really high pay going down all the way. I don't fit in the right bottom anymore because I'm 25. So, I jumped a little bit, but I'm in that other ethnic category, which, it's that sliding scale. And it's those things that add up. And we got the gender report that some of us have talked about that says 80% of the gender wage gap can be explained by unconscious bias, and that's the microaggressions. So I wanted to challenge that and talk about something that we talked about at the UN with my YWCA sisters. These are all the awesome young women that I met, and up there in the picture in colour, that's me and Cara, who introduced me to the concept of microfeminism. And that's fighting those microaggressions with acts of microfeminism every day. And so I thought I'd give you some practical tips to kind of, if you are not a minority, or even if you are a minority that have some sort of privilege, what you can do to help someone who's experiencing these things or holding those things. And so my number one kind of thing is check your privilege. And I talk about this all the time to all the people that I encounter, and I go, I actually check my privilege. And the thing that I really like to think about is this concept in Te Ao Māori, which is about tūranga waiwai. And it's about knowing your standing place and knowing what your values are, but also understanding where you are standing, kind of, really putting your feet down and saying, I'm standing here, but could I make space for somebody else? Could I make, it easier for somebody else to stand in a place where it will be easier for them to be? Which leads me to the next one, which is about creating safe spaces. So if you've got privilege, use it. I like to talk about this, this effect. I use the person's name, so I've changed it to John, which was a generic name, but I call it the John effect, where if I have someone with me who has privilege, who's white, somehow I've become visible. So I go to a restaurant and I'd love it if I'm with this person, and then I go again with my family, and suddenly the waitstaff isn't nice anymore. I worked with this person for one of my organisations, and he just never talked to me. And then I turned up to an event with my partner, who's half Dutch, and suddenly he was like, oh, hey, what's your name? And I was like, I've worked with you for a year, and you don't know my name? I'm sure I've introduced myself, you just don't remember. So it's for, so if you're turning up to stuff like that with someone who doesn't have that privilege, use it and kind of make that space for them to speak out and stand up for them, but don't speak for them if you can facilitate them speaking out for themselves. Which brings me to my last one, and I've got a lot of my champions here. I've got my mum, who's my biggest champion, and she's the reason why I'm here. I've got my little sister, who's always talks about me as if I'm her role model, but really she's just there supporting me. I've got Anton, who's just always there and always listening to me get angry about all those microaggressions and being the most patient person in the world. I've got Kola and Laura and Pauli who've let me be here and talk about these things, and it's just all those champions, and you can be that for somebody else. So yeah, I just wanted to end with this message that you can really do little things, the micro-feminist things to combat that. Yeah, thank you.